Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending my presentation. My name is Bogdan Petre. I'm a senior engineer at AIven and also a maintainer of Valkey. And today I'll give a short presentation about migrating 15,000 Redis servers to Valkey. Well, around 15,000. First question to answer is why do this? Because it sounds very painful and unpleasant. So a bit about AIven. AIven is a database as a service provider, open source databases, that is. So we offer PostgreSQL, MySQL, OpenSearch, Valkey, and a bunch of others. But before AIven for Valkey, we used to offer AIven for Redis, judging by the commit history starting from 2018 until 2024, so last year, until a certain license was changed, and Redis wasn't open source anymore, and we couldn't offer future versions of it. But some very nice people decided to fix the problem by forking it and creating Valkey. And at the time, AIven kind of backed this project and committed to offering Valkey on the AIven platform. And I actually did most of the work of implementing that on AIven. And we've been offering it since June 2024, which is nice. But then, so around July last year, the status was we had about 100 Valkey services and around 15,000 Redis services. And of course, we didn't want to support Redis anymore. We don't want to deal with it. We wanted to move forward with Valkey, but we did like the money we got from the Redis services. So ideally, we wanted to migrate those. And the only options at the time were basically an external migration system, so to say, where you basically gave the URL of your Redis service and you imported all the data in the Valkey, in your new Valkey service. But the problem with that, of course, is that you need to reconfigure it, you need to recreate your ACL users, and you need to change basically the URLs in your application, so some downtime. So the goal here was to do something smoother for customers. So basically, to explain the solution, it's we need to go to how we manage a regular Valkey server at AIven. So basically, we have a server running on a VM, let's say Valkey 802, and that's the Valkey server running in the VM and some AIven management code, and that's generation N. And if say we want to upgrade to 803, basically what we do, we spawn a new VM where we run Valkey 803 together with the new version of AIven management code. We issue a replica of command from the new node to the old primary. Data starts flowing, so the RDB gets streamed, and when the replica is up to date with the primary, we issue a client pause on the old primary, and we issue a replica of no one on the new node, and we kill the old node. And basically, now we have 8.03 running in a stable state. So the idea was, what if instead of Valkey, we have Redis, and we move directly from Redis to Valkey? So luckily, Valkey is fully compatible with Redis. So even Valkey 8 with Redis 7.2. So if you run replica off command, so if you run in your locally on your machine a Redis server in a terminal and a Valkey server in another terminal, and you just issue replica off, it will just work. So actually, it turns out that the only complication was making the AIven management code behave nicely, because basically in that gen bump state, you have different service types, essentially nodes of different service types, which is a bit of a pain. But yeah, that was the technically challenging part, let's say. But it turns out that not even that was that complicated, right? Because you have different service type, different binaries that you have to run, and different configs, but the configs were essentially the same, just prefixed differently. So the code to manage that was, not that all that hard, right? So this was the technical solution, and how it works under the hood, and how we show this for our customers, how they viewed it is a one-click solution in the console. So upgrade to Valkey, and then we do the process that I showed earlier, and whenever customers want, they can just click that, and that basically calls an API endpoint on the platform, and that changes the service type in the database and triggers that gen bump that spawns a new Valkey server. And then that's it. Customers have a Valkey server now. So this is option one. Option two was because even with a one-click solution, people still will avoid updating themselves if they want to. So we implemented an automatic migration during a server's maintenance window. So after the end of life was announced, and it turns out that this is the way we migrated the majority of the servers in the end. So. Okay, I made it sound pretty easy, and honestly, it was less problematic than we anticipated. But there were a few hiccups. So for instance, for customers that manage their services via Terraform or Kubernetes, there is a state mismatch, because essentially in the AIven provider, there's a different resource, AIven for Redis and AIven for Valkey, right? So if you manage your Redis services via Terraform, and you have in your state files an AIven for Redis, and then you click upgrade to Valkey, then your server updates to Valkey, but then Terraform won't see in the file that you have a Redis anymore, but we'll see some AIven for Valkey that's not tracked. So it will try to destroy that and recreate the Redis service. So that's not nice. But there's a workaround for it, but it requires the customers to basically run Terraform state remove and import, in addition to updating their resources. So that was a bit, not so smooth, but eventually we documented everything, and customers, I think, did that correctly, because nobody complained to support that. Where's my database? So that's nice. Then we had, there was an interesting bug, an ACL load crash in Valkey 8 on the replicas. That's the only bug that affected our running of our migration of Redis to Valkey, but it wasn't that big, and I just patched that upstream, and then it worked fine. And by far the most annoying complication was convincing customers and OEM partners that what we did was actually safe and reliable, and it doesn't crash, and it's safe, and we promise, and really, and because technically the solution has been ready, and this migration path has been there since September last year, but I think around 60% of our fleet was migrated over the last 2 months, which, why so late? But it's some things aren't just up to the engineers, I guess. And in numbers, as of this morning, I checked the numbers, so 3,800 migrations were triggered by customers, and migrations that happened automatically after the end of life, 10,760, which comes out to about 14,500, I think. So I wasn't that far off when I submitted a talk with a 15,000. So that's nice. Yeah, and that was my lightning talk. And thank you. I think we even have some time for questions, if any. Yes, Dimitri? Oh.
Why you say loudly? Why not just go from Redis 7.2 to Valkey 7.2?
Dimitri, you have to ask the question in the mic.
Why not just go from Redis 7.2 to Valkey 7.2? We have the same problem at Oracle in convincing customers to migrate. A lot of hand-holding.
So we had that for a while because in the beginning we were supporting just Valkey 7.2, and for a few months that was the migration path. But at AIven we don't really support multiple versions of Valkey because we have a lean engineering team. So the AIven for Valkey engineering team is on this stage. So then it was obvious that the migration was going to take some time. So then we wanted to offer people already Valkey 8. And then it was a trade-off that, we had to do. And
any other questions?
Have you ever tried or come across a solution for migrating Redis 7.4 to Valkey?
No, actually, I'm not familiar at all with Redis 7.4, and I don't know if it works even. Do we support that? Because like they forked at 7.2, and I wouldn't know.
I actually don't know that question, if that's something we'd support. There's different, I think there's some additional commands in 7.4.
It works for most of the use cases, but for hashes, for example, if you do have hash aspirations, that doesn't work. And the RDB format is different. I think Rand and Victor know about it.
Okay, so I guess for updating for the AIven service, you never had Redis in the service, so it's not a problem for you. But for anyone who has installed Redis later version, 7.4 or 8.0, it's not compatible. The RDB, it cannot replicate. Valkey cannot replicate from those versions because of the RDB version difference. And we are working on some relaxed way to import this data, make it easier. But we cannot support the new data type they added. So only if you didn't use any of the new features, that would be the basic requirement. But even that doesn't work in the past. There are some workarounds, but not really. Yeah, but the question was whether you encounter it. But because I guess others encounter it.
Well, we didn't encounter it because we stopped, like the latest Redis version that we had on the platform was 7.2. So it wasn't a problem that we had, yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more question if there is one, just a short one. Seeing none. Okay, thank you so much.